in a in an organization, and I said, "Do you know that we are at a loss with the number of fresh waters we are allowed to go down to the lagoon, to go down to the sea in Nigeria?" The reason is this: we don't have storage facility. We don't have dam to store this fresh water that is needed for agri business. And unfortunately, immediately you are getting towards October, November, all farmers pack their farm input and implements to sleep. But you don't blame them because we don't have the irrigation system that is working optimally in Nigeria, except for some few places where you have individual people trying to put those facilities and structures in place.
Right.
But like I was trying to say, now what we provide in Macdoyee, one of the training is to tell you that you can plant other crops in that same location where you see that it has to be corn, and maximize a kind of a profit better and far higher than what you plant. Many times, if you look at, if I'm not yet to give us the statistic, but let me just give you a brief of this. That, for example, if you plant an acre, now let me an hectare for maize. Ideally, you have less than 100 ton of maize. But if you come to Macdoyee, we are going to teach you a better way to plant your corn. The one you call maize. We're going to teach. Beyond that, we're going to teach you the best seedling, the best crop you can plant on your farm location. Thirdly, we're going to tell you, because some of these seedlings has different values. For example, I gave you, sometimes I mentioned the 419 African giant cassava here. Now there are different breeds of cassava. There is one that is vitamin A cassava. That one is yellowish in color. So those ones cannot be. You are a farmer. If you don't know this, I let that on the back. If you don't know this, if somebody just give you a cassava stem and you buy to it, and you know that you want to do it, you want to use it that for ethanol or for patch in lost. I'm not even in educated people work. The people will leave them. I don't know. I'm going to explain this so that people, listeners at home, will understand. What I'm trying to say is this: if we get see the Nigerian project with the idea of, I'm making it quick. I want to go back and I'll call you. I said, it's a business that takes time. So that you run at, because invest when you invest and your first one, these are areas where financial experts will come to our farmers. They say, what they have in a good business. And many times, when you get a financial facility to go to farm, expected you ensure that business. Because we never can tell. But Nigeria was say, I can't pay for insurance, I can't do this, I can't do that. And you discover that when West come, when caterpillars and all these things attack your farm, you'll be at the dark end. Right. So we don't want anybody to commit suicide in the name of agriculture anymore in Nigeria. So what we're going to do, we're going to provide you qualitative training. We're going to be speaking English in the training session. It's not going to be grammar. Right. It's going to be practical. But the will take our trainees from one location to another. We've written to some of the factories and companies we have around the FCT. We go and see to know that truly there are some of these things that are being produced locally. Because the idea is this, and I want to say this again: it don't desert me that at a point, this is my personal experience, right, and I know it's applicable to Nigerians. At a point, I was in livestock farm feed. I discovered that people, even my close friend, who are rearing livestock, will bypass my products and go and buy from the one that was imported.
Wow.
I was at the point I called one of my friends and said, you think I don't have the formula to produce? I said, if you just bring a grain of this, your feed, and let me bring my own. Let's take it to the lab. And I begin to show him. I said, do you see this? Do you see that? We have nearly the same qualities and ingredients. But because it's a Nigeria thing, they won't come. So I want to say this categorically, that we will take our trainees to some of these locations where some of these products are being produced, that the Nigeria has the capacity to produce anything you can imagine. So if you can conceive it, the Nigeria has the capacity to make it a reality. Right. So we are pleading about religious body. If you want us to come and speak to your congregation, we will come. Just call me any day. Maybe Sunday or during or week hours, I will be available. Call me. I will come to your religious location and I will speak to the congregation the need for us to be properly trained before we venture into the agribusiness.
And the number, of course, would be 0806 221 7902.
Yes, let me give the second number. Okay. It's important I give the second number.
Very well.
Both the number, you can send your data to the two number. The second number is
80
62
no
080 54 78 46
12.
Again, 00 54 78 46 12. Now, like I was trying to say, now if you call us to come and speak to your congregation, we'll be rightly available. We'll tell them the reason why they should be part of this training. Again, I am saying it again and again, that by the grace of God, the free registration will come to an end the end of this month.
Okay.
By
so 1st of July.
Yeah, by 1st day of July, we'll begin to release our form for people to acquire. And the reason for this is we are still working on so many logistics, and that is why, again, I want to plead with those who actually want to invest in this business. We want partners. If you have something you want to showcase, you have products, farm produce, you want to showcase in our training center. Before we produce our board, our billboard and our flyers and our awareness jingles, you come to us. Call my number. I'll personally come to your office. We'll sit down and look at the terms and conditions on how you can be beneficiary, on how you can partner with us, and it will be of benefit to your company, because you'll be free to bring some of these things to our centers for sales. And our trainees will acquire them because it will be part of what the tools that will be needed. And again, I said, at the point I was trying to look at how we're going to produce many of those needed equipment, particularly the basic equipment we can acquire easily for our trainees, so that when they go, they don't just go back and fold down their hands. No, apart from putting them in cooperative, that will be able to get them to access financial assistance for their farm business. We are going to produce some. They're going to be available basic farm implements, 21st century farm implements that are usable for a business that will maximize profit in our training center.
Right. Well, I'd like to get into another question. I think this question is very pertinent that we ask it. And this is a matter you brought around food wastage as well as the food distribution. So how can partnerships between Macdoyee and religious bodies help address issues of food wastage, or food waste, if you like, and food distribution?
Thank you.
And engage, of course, or foster community service, in that regard.
Right. Now, to start with, I'm not going to say it because I want to swallow my word. You remember some time ago, I said we have shortage in our storage facility facility across the tree.
Yes.
Go to all the storage facility. Many of them are even sold out because there is no grain in them. Yes. And the reason is that we have deficit in our production. Now, in the area of wasting,
Yeah.
you see, we will continue to have that because we have limited strength in our networking capacity. Now, many a times, some farmers, as many of these farm produce, are the very deep side in our farm locations, and many a time the roads are not accessible. You agree with me now? This is June. By the time it's July, August, many of the farm produce will be stuck. They will be deep. So what we are doing in Macdoyee Security Sustainability Initiative is that you reach to us. We are going to navigate on how exactly we will prevent that kind of a wastage. You see, about a month or 2 months ago, you discovered that mango was everywhere. But you go to the market now, you discover that it's
almost disappeared.
It's almost there. Disappeared. The reason why it has is because we don't have the storage capacity. And I believe strongly in what the Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security is doing in that regard. Because until we begin to look at to manage the little we have, the little farm produces in our disposal, we will not be able to feed ourselves. Because in everything we just hang off for corn now. I was to mention corn. Now, maize is coming to the market massively.
Right.
Now, expectedly, they're supposed to be off-takers who will buy this thing and store it for when it will be needed towards September, October, November, December. But unfortunately, you discover that it will just flood everywhere and it will be wasted. So we're going to teach our trainees on how we can preserve some of these farm produce for a longer period before consumption. That's going to be part of our trainings, and it's going to be very practical. We're going to be very practical in this area because we have our local method of preserving our farm produce.
Yeah.
It's just at the point it's also tragic. I wept the day I saw where a farmer using a very dangerous, I don't want to mention the name, a very dangerous anti-human preservative on the fridge.
No.
I wept, and the man was spraying it on the fridges because he want to avoid being decayed. Now there are ways to eat that will not be injurious to our body, and that is why we're going to teach us on the area of organic. Many of the fertilizers that will be brought to the training center will be organic fertilizers. Yes, and I'm saying this because we cannot because we want to produce massively start killing ourselves with what we consume. Because most of this farm produce will still come back to our table for consumption. Of course, you agree with me that the reason why we even come out for this project is to have food security, and not just having food security, we have to sustain it. And to sustain it in the area of avoiding wastage in the little that we have in our disposal.
All right, you already heard from him already talking about the CEO himself, the chief executive officer, the guy at the top, the one who has the vision for this conversation, as well as talking about the Macdoyee Food Security and Sustainability Initiative in the person of Comrade Isaiah, I beg your pardon, where is Isa coming from? Isaiah Alabi. Now, he's a renowned agricultural expert and agripreneur, right? Now, let's go to the place of knowledge sharing. How can Macdoyee facilitate knowledge sharing and exchange between religious bodies and other stakeholders in the agricultural sector, especially to promote best practices and innovations?
All right, thank you. Now, knowledge sharing is not limited to anybody.
Okay.
You see, nobody is an island of knowledge. That's the first thing we must acknowledge. Now, we don't know it all in Macdoyee, and that is why we are partnering other bodies.
Okay.
At the point I mentioned that we have friends outside the country who are interested in this project.
Exactly.
And we are not going to, like I said, you know, I strongly believe that if you can conceive it, you can have it. That is my idea.
Okay.
Anything that comes to my mind, I believe is achievable.
Okay.
It may take time. It is achievable.
All
so
right.
what I'm trying to say is this: there are men and women today who are doing well in this same field. And again, you remember I said that, you see, an attempt to say that you have to monopolize what you are doing, you are killing yourself. Because one of the major persons are people that will keep you in business are your co-competitors. But when nobody is competing with you, you become a glorified semi-god. And I detest that. So now there is reason for knowledge sharing. We are going to. That's why everybody is registering to us today. People called and said, "What are you going to do when you are giving people training freely? We give them material and all that." I said, when they are trained and they are doing well, definitely Macdoyee will be good for it.
Okay.
So now my door is open